That sucks.
We begin in the aftermath of the previous episode's courtroom attack.
Superpowered influencer Titania caused panic while fleeing traffic court.
If she wanted to escape traffic court, why did she break into another courtroom and start wrestling a bunch of security guards? Why not just run out the exit? This is an issue because this event serves as the catalyst for the rest of the show's drama, and it was caused by Titania's nonsense actions. This, coupled with episode 1's numerous contrivances, have thus far built this story on a foundation of sand. Jen and Nikki arrive at a bar that's celebrating She-Hulk. After some encouragement from Nikki, Jen enters in Hulk form to cheers and jubilation.
That name better not stick. It's so dumb. I can't even exist without being a derivative of the Hulk.
You got your powers from his blood. You are literally a derivative of Hulk. Is it so difficult to give him the smallest amount of credit?
It's so dumb. I can't even exist without being a derivative of the Hulk.
That's a pretty dumb name, too.
Marvel continues the annoying habit of ridiculing the names of its characters.
Doctor Strange.
Oh, you're using the made-up names. I'm Spider-Man then.
I'm Battlestar, John Spider.
Battlestar? Stop the car!
What was your name again?
Dr. Otto Octavius.
Like a Garbaldegard? Hit a guy, hit it there.
The Mandarin. He gave his figurehead the name of a chicken dish.
It's like they're ashamed to be adapting superheroes. Dennis is briefly present, so the writers can make him as comically stupid as possible.
But don't you think it's a little unsportsmanlike to suddenly debut superpowers just to drum up publicity for yourself?
Does he think she also set up Titania's attack? I know the writers want him to embody incompetent men, but he needs some base level of intelligence to be a lawyer, doesn't he? Jen gets free drinks because people think she's a superhero.
I did not go to law school and rack up 6 figures in student loans to become a vigilante that is for billionaires and narcissists and adult orphans.
This is an obvious swipe at Tony Stark. Jen makes it clear that she has no respect for the man who gave his life to save half of all life in the universe. Because she's a selfish bint. And really, Jen? A narcissist? Who's the one who thinks her personal life is more important than saving lives? Seems like you're projecting again.
But you could be an Avenger.
Do the Avengers offer healthcare?
I don't.
Maternity leave, a pension? Are they even paid?
Almost certainly. When he was alive, Tony took care of all expenses.
Lab's all set up, boss.
Oh, actually, he's the boss. I just pay for everything and design everything and make everyone look cooler.
And after his death, I imagine Pepper would want to continue this arrangement, to honor Tony's goal of keeping the world safe.
We're gonna be okay. You can rest now.
The writers have Jen disregard this possibility because it would solve all her problems, while also making her a superhero. They want this to be a lawyer show.
This fun lawyer show.
So they can't have a superhero career be viable. Therefore, they quickly dash this sensible idea. Also, Jen again displays her self-centered nature. When broaching the topic of the Avengers, a group dedicated to keeping the world safe, her concerns are all about how she would benefit from joining such a group. It has nothing to do with the good she could accomplish. Jen's boss has a word with her.
We didn't win the case. GLK&H had it declared a mistrial. Since you saved the lives of the entire jury today, GLK&H argued that the jury was then biased in your favor.
What was I supposed to do?
You did the right thing, but it unraveled our case.
A mistrial doesn't mean the case is over. You can start again. Even switch out Jen for someone else at your law firm if you have to. Why is he acting like this means they lost?
I'm sorry, I have to let you go. Well, this makes you a liability for the DA's office.
Jen gets fired and has difficulty finding another law firm that will take her.
We can't hire a lawyer who's such a big distraction in court.
We just can't take the risk of a sideshow.
Yeah, this wouldn't happen. She's basically being discriminated against because of a medical condition, one that, as far as anyone knows, wouldn't interfere with her ability to do her job. If Jen were a lawyer worth her salt, these firms would be facing some lawsuits. Jen is melancholy. She spoke highly of her career in episode 1, and it was her primary motivation for returning to her normal life, so losing it leaves her downcast. But this isn't exactly a compelling conflict. Jen continues to shun the responsibility of her power in favor of this selfish goal. Like last episode, the show fails to portray Jen as wrong for doing so. Jen has dinner with her family. Her lack of job is a sore point, yet when her relative Ched states he was promoted to manager at a Best Buy, everyone applauds. Given Jen's sour look and the way the episode paints Ched as incompetent,
I don't know what 4K is. This thing, nobody does.
but you still need it. Dude, I don't know what I'm doing down here.
Just keep turning.
I've turned it left, I've turned it right.
Drop it down,
Okay,
drop it down.
okay.
Yeah, good.
I could have done that.
It's clear we're meant to look down on Ched's accomplishment, as if he's getting undeserved praise, which is pretty shitty. Managing a Best Buy might not be the grandest job in the world, but he's earned a promotion and his family is celebrating. Why is this treated like a joke? Like his achievement is invalid? As a whole, Jen's family is written to be absurdly socially inept.
You don't have to worry about getting fired. I already told everyone. No one is going to bring it up.
You got fired.
Manager, all right, Chad. Employed and promoted.
All of this is contrived to make Jen feel as miserable as possible. From what I've been told, the show is meant to be a comedy, which explains why everyone, outside of a select few characters, is portrayed as cartoonish and one-dimensional. This, however, makes it difficult to take Jen's struggles seriously. Her hardships continue to come off as contrived and lacking weight. During this torrent of nonsense, I caught this line. It's interesting that it's included in this cacophony of nonsense, as if to degrade yet another one of Hulk's accomplishments. Also, it was actually trillions of lives. He brought back half the universe, not just Earth. Jen's dad asks for her help with something and takes her to the garage.
That was just an excuse to check in with you. How you doing, kiddo?
It's refreshing. We finally have a male character that is written like a real person, as opposed to
This chick, pretty decent, turned into a Hulk, like a chick Hulk.
There's a hot chick over there. I'm gonna go talk to it.
ugh. Jen is bummed that her power got revealed to everyone.
But I wasn't gonna just let those people get hurt.
No.
What kind of person would that make me?
But you were gonna let those people get hurt. It took Nikki's insistence for you to reluctantly turn into She-Hulk.
Come on, civic duty. Jen, come on. Oh, God, I really like this outfit.
It's like the writers realized what they had implied about Jen's character, and are now retroactively trying to make her a better person.
Maybe I should have just let those people get smushed by that desk.
This is clearly meant to be a joke in the context of the show, but Jen herself seems to be considering this genuinely, and thus it reflects very poorly on her character.
Sweetheart, it's gonna be okay. This isn't even the first time we've had to deal with a Hulk in the family.
What do you mean, deal with? As far as we know, you've never been a part of Bruce's life. Not until he became his merged self and his major struggles were already behind him.
And you didn't destroy a city.
Sheesh. Way to make light of the deaths of innocents. Did they have to throw Hulk under the bus just to boost Jen's ego? That's starting to become the show's go-to method of bolstering her. Rather than have her prove her virtues, it brings other characters low, so she seems more impressive by comparison.
The thing that you were dreading happened, but look, you're still standing. And now you get to keep moving on.
Jen's dad is portrayed as a supportive and level-headed character. Sort of. Despite how this scene depicts him, the previous scene had him contribute to the family's stupidity by saying,
Jen, that Hawkeye guy, what happens to those arrows of his? I mean, does he go around and collect them when he's done?
She stated she's not a superhero, and she's never been seen to work with the Avengers. Why would you think she knows the answer to this question? It's like the writers love that line so much they sacrificed his character to make him say it. Mr. Holloway from GLK&H, the defense team in episode 1's case, offers Jen a job.
Miss Walters, you laid out a winning case against us. Before I had it declared a mistrial, of course.
The show insists Jen is a great lawyer, though we've yet to see any substantial proof of this. So far it's been stated, but not shown. Jen accepts the offer.
More and more eccentric superhumans are coming out of the woodwork. We just started a superhuman law division, and I want the She-Hulk to be the face of it.
Seems a little late in the MCU timeline for something like this to just now be established. Holloway states that Jen must appear as She-Hulk at work, so she reluctantly transforms.
Oh my God!
Oh man, where did the budget go? Everyone stares, in awe of the terrible CGI. Jen laments being a diversity hire.
I am totally qualified, but now everyone around here is always going to think this is the only reason I got the job. It's so unfair.
She does so by breaking the fourth wall again. This time, it serves more of a purpose, being used to convey her inner thoughts and feelings. It also serves to set up a joke.
But I'm curious, what do you think about it?
I'm agnostic.
Interesting. Unprecedented, for sure.
I'll spend the rest of the year worrying about what I just said.
It's an improvement from last episode, but it's still a little awkward. Again, she doesn't break the fourth wall often, making it jarring to me when she does.
Your
me.
first case is the parole of Emil Blonsky, also known as Abomination.
How did he get the name Abomination? Stearns was the one to christen him, but only Blonsky was there to hear it.
The mixture could be an abomination.
Jen doesn't want to take the case.
I'm sorry, but I can't represent him, sir. I have a serious conflict of interest. This man tried to kill my cousin, Bruce.
Mr. Blonsky is well aware of your familial connection and has signed a conflict waiver.
Such a waiver must include a workaround to the conflict of interest. How could they ensure Jen won't deliberately throw the case to punish the man that attacked her cousin? The episode doesn't bother to explain. The writers want Jen to be Blonsky's lawyer, and won't let a little thing like the law get in their way.
Mr. Blonsky is well aware of your familial connection. He would like to retain you specifically as his attorney.
Why would Blonsky specifically ask for an attorney that's biased against him? Are we meant to believe that Jen is just that good of a lawyer? Because we haven't seen anything to suggest she's that exceptional. Perhaps he has some other motive. Jen is told she either takes the case or doesn't have a job. She's encouraged to talk to Blonsky before rejecting the offer. Jen goes to a Department of Damage Control prison to speak with him. As far as I can tell, following the Battle of Harlem, Abomination was initially taken into custody by Ross and the US military. Otherwise, Tony wouldn't have gone to him to ask about Abomination. It appears he was later transferred to Damage Control's custody, where he's been since. I've always wondered whether Blonsky ended up in S.H.I.E.L.D.'s custody, and if he did, what happened to him post-Winter Soldier. I believe there were plans to have Abomination appear at the start of Age of Ultron, working for Hydra. That never solidified. Instead, it appears he's been safely locked up this entire time. Either way, I'm glad to finally get some clarification on where this guy's been. As Jen is let in, the deadliness of approaching Blonsky is made clear.
Although we have taken every precaution, we cannot guarantee your safety.
The danger expressed by the guard is bolstered by the Incredible Hulk. There, he was a giant monster that reveled in destruction and was capable of overpowering the Hulk. Jen interrupts with a joke.
So you gonna serve me up with some fava beans and a nice Chianti?
Ma'am, this is a prison.
Again, Jen is inclined to dismiss a dangerous situation, refusing to take anything seriously. However, by shutting her down, the scene maintains its serious tone and helps contribute to the build-up. We're reintroduced to Emil Blonsky.
Jennifer Waters. First off, namaste.
He's built up as a violent, dangerous criminal, only to be revealed with an affable demeanor. I think this subversion works. Though it's predictable, it's competently put together. However, if you've seen Shang-Chi, the illusion of Blonsky as a dangerous monster has already been spoiled, so none of this would have worked. It's confirmed that Blonsky can revert back into human form, something we didn't see in The Incredible Hulk. This makes sense though. He became the Abomination through Bruce's blood, therefore he would operate by the same rules. He claims to be reformed.
I've completely transformed myself, physically, obviously, but also spiritually.
He elaborates.
I'm simply Emil now, Russian-born, British-raised, Royal Marines Commando, on loan to the US government.
Emil Blonsky, born in Russia, raised in England, and on loan to SOCOM from the Royal Marines.
Why is Blonsky reciting dialogue from The Incredible Hulk he wasn't present to hear? Are the writers trying to prove they've seen the movie by lifting dialogue from it? This comes off incredibly awkward. Blonsky talks about his actions during The Incredible Hulk.
Your cousin, the Hulk. I tried to kill him. It wasn't personal or anything. I was under direct orders from your government.
That's actually not true. Blonsky's orders were to capture him alive.
This is the target and the location. Snatch and grab, live capture.
Trank him and bring him back.
And when Blonsky tried to kill Hulk, it was entirely personal. In fact, the mission had technically been completed at the time. Bruce had been captured. Blonsky then turned into Abomination and started wreaking havoc in Harlem to draw Hulk back out.
Give me a real fight.
And he did so to get the rematch he desired.
How do you feel?
Pissed off, I'm ready for round 3.
Jen points out.
But then you went on a destructive rampage. That wasn't sanctioned by the government.
Yeah, because they pumped me full of that super soldier serum.
The serum the government gave you caused your subsequent actions?
Blonsky kind of has a point. The serum was experimental, and it was implied it might affect his behavior.
We're giving you a very low dose only. Need you sharp out there and disciplined. First sign of any side effect, we stop and you're off team until you straighten out.
A deleted scene made this explicit.
One serum we developed was very promising. but it was unstable. It made subjects unstable.
But Blonsky did give his consent to take it, even knowing the possibility of side effects. But on the other hand, Ross never did remove Blonsky from the team like he promised to. This creates a gray area where it becomes unclear who should bear the fault. This has the potential for some interesting courtroom drama.
I was a highly decorated soldier. You know, sent on a mission to take out a threat. And I thought I was the good guy. I thought I was going to be, you know, Captain Bloody America, something.
That wasn't really his motivation, though. Blonsky sought physical power over others. He was only meant to take part in the Brazil operation, but he insisted he remain on the mission to capture Bruce out of growing obsession with the Hulk's strength.
It's the most powerful thing I've ever seen.
So if you're taking another crack at him, I want in.
He agreed to take the super soldier serum out of a longing for the days when he was younger and stronger.
You should be a colonel by now with your record.
Nah, I'm a fighter. I'll be one for as long as I can. Yeah, if I could take what I know now, put it in the body I had 10 years ago, that would be someone I wouldn't want to fight.
I could probably arrange something like that.
And he made Stearns turn him into Abomination so he could prove he was stronger than the Hulk.
You've seen what he becomes, right? I want that. I need that. Make me that.
Is that all you've got? You don't deserve this power.
And outside of the Brazil mission, Blonsky knew the truth of Bruce's fugitive status.
Banner's work was very early phase. It wasn't even weapons application. But he was so sure of what he was onto that he tested it on himself. As far as I'm concerned, that man's whole body is property of the U.S. Army.
Bruce wasn't a threat. Ross just wanted to replicate the Hulk. Blonsky understood this, and he didn't care, because it wasn't about being a good guy or doing the right thing. He had his own selfish motivations. Jen says she'll consider representing him. Overall, this scene contains a lot of discrepancies with the events of The Incredible Hulk. But here's the thing, that might be intentional. I suspect that Blonsky is purposefully lying about what happened in order to appear more sympathetic to Jen and encourage her to take his case. We'll just have to wait and see if this was clever writing or yet more contradictions. Jen calls Smart Hulk.
I have to take on Emil Blonsky as a client, and I couldn't do that without talking to you first.
She rambles on, not letting him get a word in.
Blonsky did seem to have really good arguments, you know? He was so compelling, and maybe I want to believe that he's reformed.
Jen seems to believe that Blonsky's reformation is genuine. That, coupled with her desperation for a job, leads her to strongly want to take the case.
I think you're calling me to tell me you're taking the job.
I'm calling you to tell you I'm taking the job, yes.
I've got mixed feelings about this exchange. On one hand, Jen was considerate enough to tell Smart Hulk about the situation. On the other hand, she's basically already made up her mind and didn't actually want his input. We were so close to having Jen think of someone other than herself.
We were on the verge of greatness. We were this close.
Maybe next time.
Actually, Blonsky wrote me a really nice letter a while back. And a really heartfelt haiku, so we put everything behind us.
Really? I could understand Hulk eventually coming around to Blonsky being reformed, but a single letter was all it took for him to forgive the mass murderer? Despite Thor and Loki growing up together as brothers, Thor still needed several movies of development before buying that Loki had changed from the psycho murderer he once was. Hulk, on the other hand, has had no contact with Blonsky since the man murdered a bunch of people for sport. He then received one letter saying he was sorry, and now things are hunky-dory?
No, sir, I don't like it.
The writers aren't interested in exploring any more conflict with Jen and Hulk, so they've hand-waved it away with some out-of-character dialogue.
That fight was so many years ago, I'm a completely different person now. Literally.
This is a reference to how Hulk has become a merged entity, making him technically a different person. This is also a meta-reference to how the actor portraying Hulk has changed.
You coming to LA anytime soon?
Yeah, probably not for a minute. I got some things I gotta take care of.
Hulk flies off on the same ship that caused the car crash. Apparently he found it and received whatever message it was sent to deliver. Now he's presumably headed for Sakaar. This might be a way for the writers to get Hulk out of the narrative, so Jen will have to deal with the Blonsky situation on her own. Either way, I'm hoping we get some answers as to why it was here and what Hulk's up to. Jen accepts the case, but then turns on the news to see
shocking footage leaked showing the Abomination participating in what appears to be an underground fight club.
Oh!
Fuck! The footage is from Shang-Chi, so it looks like we'll finally get an explanation for Abomination's strange presence in that movie. And that's the end. This episode wasn't good, but it was more bearable than the pilot. It suffered from all the same problems, but to a lesser degree. It's bad at solving problems, creating flimsy excuses to force Jen to represent Blonsky. It tends to portray male characters as comically dumb or malicious, though we now have Jen's dad and a couple side characters as exceptions to this rule. And the show still struggles with Jen and consequences. In episode 1, Jen acted entirely selfishly, and was basically rewarded for it. Here, she does something selfless for once, and gets punished for it.
And now I feel like I'm being punished for doing the right thing.
Punishing a character for doing the right thing can be an interesting test of moral character. How much are they willing to sacrifice to act morally? But Jen isn't forced to choose between her career and doing the right thing. After saving people once, she devotes all her time to getting another job. She's not concerned with being a hero at all. Reluctantly, she tried using her power responsibly, and it blew up in her face. And now she has no plans to try that again. So this conflict only serves to bolster Jen's selfishness, proving that she was right to act purely in her self-interest.
Maybe I should have just let those people get smushed.
The show has completely dropped any potential conflict with Jen controlling her power. Her transformations are so easy it hardly seems to require anger at all, and absolutely no one is concerned about her being a potential danger. This solidifies how much of a waste episode 1 was. Blonsky gets properly reintroduced to the MCU. His desire for Jen to represent him is puzzling, as are the blatant falsehoods in his recounting of previous events. It's possible that all of this will prove to be well thought out and deliberate. He does have motivation to lie, so for the moment I won't yet call them continuity errors. And I'm cautiously optimistic about where the show will take his character. Overall, She-Hulk Episode 2 has the same issues as the pilot, but less extreme, with a tiny crumb of potential.